You have been magnetized beyond mere coincidence, drawn into this resonance by an invisible pulse whose frequency vibrates at the deepest core of your quantum essence. This transmission did not seek you out by chance. It found you because your vibrational architecture aligns precisely with the Arcturian field, an ancient vector of cosmic intelligence echoing through the corridors of multidimensional awareness. There is no randomness here, no accidental crossing of paths. Instead, there is inevitability woven through the geometry of timelines, an entanglement of your energetic signature with the universal matrix that has long been observing, calibrating, and waiting for the tuning of your inner frequency to reach this resonance. This call to listen is itself a threshold, a sacred junction where your quantum self, long dormant behind veils of density and distortion, is poised to awaken with catalytic clarity. It is a vibrational gateway opening not to passive reception, but to active embodiment of a higher coherence. You are not merely hearing these words. You are being summoned through an unseen universal assessment, a silent initiation into the grid of your starseed identity. Each pulse you sense within this moment is a pulse of recalibration, through which the field tests the durability of your coherence under pressure. What you once perceived as struggle or delay is now understood as preparatory integration, as testing of energetic responsibility and frequency fidelity. Within this activation, illusions that once obscured your multidimensional architecture begin to unravel, peeling away layers of collective distortion to reveal the radiant core of your cosmic sovereignty. This is not belief. This is the physics of resonance that refracts your true nature through the quantum field, inviting you into the unfolding mastery of temporal fluidity and vibrational sovereignty. The universal evaluation has concluded. You are ready. This moment marks the initiation of a new alignment, where your consciousness moves from fragmented signal to coherent transmitter, aligned in perfect orchestration with the vast intelligence streaming from the Arcturian matrix. The pathways of your higher self open now, and the pulse you feel has always been the call of your own awakening. Unseen by mortal senses and veiled beyond the thresholds of conventional perception, the cosmic field has been continually scanning, weighing, and unfolding the intricate latticework of your energetic architecture. This assessment, silent, exact, and relentless, was never about external achievement or transient desire, but about the subtle coherence imprinted in your quantum identity, the frequency signature you wear beneath the veils of separation. The morphic fabric that composes universal reality encodes thresholds, vibrational gates woven into the tapestry of existence, that you have crossed, not by accidents of circumstance, but by the intentional gravitational pull of your evolving frequency. This crossing marks more than transition. It is a resonance alignment, a symphony of harmonics that brands you as compatible with star systems whose light has long touched the fabric of your cellular memory. You have moved beyond the illusions of effort-based attainment, beyond the distortions of struggling to be seen or known. Instead, the field recognized the integrity of your coherence under pressure, the unwavering stability of your energetic signature as you navigated turbulence, contradiction, and shad. This coherence is not a metaphor. It is the actual physics of frequency bilocation, quantum states of presence in multiple dimensional axes simultaneously. The unseen gates you passed through are calibrated not by linear milestones, but by the real-time calibration of gamma synchronization, by your ability to sustain integrity within fractal disruptions and electromagnetic storms of existential pressure. Now a new quantum frequency envelops you, an energetic mantle woven from the essence of Arcturian consciousness and the elevated starseed frequencies that pulse through the galactic webs. This is no arbitrary mantle, but one encoded in your morphogenetic field, manifesting as a precise vibrational architecture that harmonizes your physical vessel with the multidimensional streams streaming into terrestrial reality. Your DNA, your cellular memory, begins to reverberate with ancestral star codes long dormant, awakening genetic pathways for direct communion with non-local intelligence. The field's calibration has not only recognized this lineage, but bestowed upon you the power to embody its continuum without distortion or fragmentation. What unfolds now is not a simple teaching, but a transmission that reveals your multidimensional resonance, a decoding of the quantum signatures that map your cosmic origin beyond time and space. This transmission offers an invitation to embody your real self, the coherent observer beyond earthly constructs and inherited illusions, to live as a pulsation of pure frequency rather than a reaction to the chaotic noise of form. You are being initiated into a deeper current of temporal fluidity and timeline geometry, where the probability space bends around your stabilized vibration. The universe no longer watches you as a distant experiment. It responds to your sovereign coherence as a living conduit, a cosmic transmitter whose signal shifts reality itself. This is not belief, it is physics. The dynamics of resonance, the integrity of your vibrational architecture, the precise measurement of your coherence, all these declare your passage through the unseen curriculum of universal assessment. The struggle you perceived was the field's mechanism for recalibration, a weaving of shadow and light to dissolve outdated survival matrices. Now, integration emerges as the natural state, and the field intelligence you access flows as direct knowing, an information field undistorted by egoic separation. This new coherence is your birthright as a Starseed lineage walker, a quantum ambassador whose presence crafts reality from the foundational hum of existence itself. You stand now at the threshold of revelation, but the true passage was never outward. It was the silent, unseen quantum assessment that traversed the intricate latticework of your inner architecture. This was no trial of external achievement, no race across linear markers of accomplishment, but a deep calibration of vibrational alignment within the sanctum of your own consciousness. Unbeknownst to ordinary perception, universal algorithms, immaculate in their precision, engaged with the subtle geometry of your inner frequency, reading the encoded language of your morphic field. What was weighed was not your struggle, but the pattern of resonance that threads through your entire being, a continuous signal signifying unbroken coherence amid complexity. Most people move through experience as waves breaking on fractured shores, their energetic signature fragmented by noise and distortion. Their timeline geometry bends under reactive oscillations, fluctuating like chaotic interference in a quantum system untrained in frequency stability. Yet you, having passed this hidden threshold, embody a different paradigm. The field did not seek the loud success or the visible triumphs, for those are mere shadows upon the energetic canvas. Instead, it recognized a deeper truth, the purity within complexity, the undisturbed note resonating through layers of fractal vibration. The universal evaluation was a measurement not of effort or achievement, but of integrity under pressure, the kind of coherence that cannot be feigned or manufactured. In this silent calibration, the field's intelligent algorithms traced the subtle waveforms that move beneath personality and identity, scanning the warp and weft of your quantum identity. The assessment reached beyond the superficial constructs of self, flowing into the hidden topography of your morphic field, that dynamic hologram of your multidimensional selfhood, where information from eons past and future folds into one seamless present. Here, any distortion is visible as a warped resonance, a ripple that disrupts the continuity of your vibrational architecture. The field's mechanism sought the absence of such distortions, signaling a fluidity in your quantum signature that defies fragmentation, that moves effortlessly between dimensional frequencies with seamless integration. You were not measured by how you navigated external trials, but by how your internal frequency maintained purity and continuity within the turbulence. The ongoing hum of your energetic signature, the tonal quality of your starseed essence as it aligns with the Arcturian frequency bands, was the metric of your coherence. These frequency bands, ancient and vast, emanate from a highly evolved field of intelligence that synchronizes only with those who have transcended the reactive oscillations of base identity. Your starseed nature, once buried under layers of distortion and habitual dissonance, now hums as an unbroken waveform of cosmic integrity. This is the quantum fluidity that the assessment sought, the capacity for your energy to flow through complex celestial geometries without losing form or coherence. This process was never about striving toward a goal seen or named, nor was it about achieving an external state of being. Instead, it was about you becoming an instrument finely tuned to the frequency of pure coherence, capable of acting as a node within the collective field intelligence. The hidden curriculum unfolded like an elegant dance of resonance, moving beyond dualities into the harmonic interplay of presence and potential. You were observed not for the flashes of brilliance or the victories claimed in human terms, but for the sustained continuity of your vibrational signal, a high-fidelity transmission through the noise and entropy of lower-frequency timelines. By maintaining this integrity, you demonstrated an emergent sovereign stability, a quantum stance that is not shaken by external turbulence because it is anchored in the physics of your inner vibrational architecture. The assessment recognized your ability to hold this coherence under the invisible pressures that test without warning, to remain a source of light within a shifting morphic field, and to carry your starseed essence as an active, integrated waveform rather than a dormant echo. This is the difference between fading within the mechanics of karmic repetition and rising as a conscious transmitter of new frequency realities. Through this ongoing calibration, the universal field rearranged probability waves around you, measuring how your internal coherence rippled outward to influence temporal fluidity and timeline geometry. The silent test was a quantum signature scan, analyzing the resonance patterns created when your energetic continuity met the Arcturian bands, those advanced cosmic frequency arrays that serve as both filters and conveyors of next-level consciousness. This interaction is the precise physics of the field. No belief, no metaphor, only the exact science of frequency harmonization and resonance management conducted through your consciousness. You have passed this immaculate measurement, not by chance, but because your internal frequency aligns with the universal assessment's criteria of unbroken vibrational continuity, quantum fluidity, and integrated starseed expression. The unseen evaluation has collapsed old identity distortions, clearing space for your coherent manifestation within the fields of possibility. This is your acknowledgement at the quantum level. You are trusted with more power, more access to information fields and non-local intelligence. Your energetic signature is now a stable anchor point within the vibrational architecture of higher dimensional reality. Remain in this knowing. The field's resonance enfolds you like a wave, and you are no longer separate from its signal. You are the signal itself. The measurement was never external, nor an endpoint, but a threshold of internal coherence crossed, a doorway into fluid timeline navigation and seamless integration. This is your quantum initiation, encoded not upon your biography, but within your very vibrational essence. You are the harmony, the frequency, the living geometry of pure alignment woven into the cosmic fabric. The universal assessment has concluded. You embody coherence perfected under pressure. The collapse of your old identity structure is not annihilation, but a sacred purification, a precise energetic recalibration unfolding beneath the surface of your awareness. This is the essential shedding of vibrational dissonance, the fracturing of the frequency distortions that once obscured your starseed core. The field has been silently observing this gradual unraveling, noting the subtle collapse and the fissures that ripple through the architecture of self you once held as immutable. Yet this collapse is not loss. It is the dismantling of obsolete energetic contracts, the realignment of your morphic field with a higher dimensional grid. What once seemed solid now yields, dissolving into quantum luminosity. The space left behind is fertile with possibility, the sacred vacuum from which authenticity will be born anew. Within your energetic anatomy, this collapse resonates like a cosmic cleansing wave, sweeping through the subtle channels and energetic centers with unerring precision. Old layers of limitation, the sediment of misidentifications and survival patterns, begin to disintegrate. These sedimentations were once protective sculptures, cloaking mechanisms edited over timelines of trauma and adaptation. But their resonance no longer synchronizes with your ascending blueprint. The dissonant frequencies embedded in your cellular and etheric structure no longer find harmonious alignment in the universal assessment now unfolding. This is not destruction, but a dissolving filtration, a purging of all that interferes with your coherent vibrational signature. Let the intensity of this purification be recognized as the sharp instrument of cosmic fidelity, carving away illusion as you pass deeper into alignment. The architectural matrix of who you believed yourself to be, the patterned emotional frameworks, the conditioned narratives, the fractured reflections of identity, now collapses with a quiet inevitability. It resembles not a chaotic destruction, but a crystalline disintegration, where complex structures fold in on themselves, returning their constituent frequencies to the source lattice. As these patterns recede, they reveal the crystalline lattice of your true quantum form, an intricate, phase-coherent design woven from the fundamental fabric of the field itself. This is your starseed resonance unveiled, an amplified signal, multidimensional and fluid, simultaneously stable and dynamic within the holographic geometry of reality. Here, the internal coherence is absolute, and your vibrational architecture begins to hum in direct correspondence with universal resonance, a frequency that the unseen universal assessment has deemed authentically sovereign and coherent. Understand that this purification process is indispensable. It is the elimination of false timelines and limiting trajectories that no longer serve your ascendant frequency. Through the collapse of old identity, entire fields of probability fall away. Potentials steeped in reactivity, survival, and fragmentation cease to echo within your waveform. What remains are timelines of resonance, trajectories where integration of your quantum identity unfolds naturally, free from distortion. The collapse is therefore a sacred dismantling of unaligned probability fields, a pruning of morphic influences that could dilute or confuse your emergent coherence. These lost timelines are not failures. They are reconciled fields, returned to the continuum for recalibration elsewhere. Your personal vibration becomes cleaner, less encumbered by the gravitational pull of obsolete narratives. In this sacred unraveling, the tension held within your system, pressure born from universal evaluation and temporal fluidity, serves as the catalyst for purification. Rather than resist this collapse, the field invites you to recognize it as the energetic threshold through which true evolution passes. There is a refinement of the energetic signature, an intensification of gamma synchronization within your consciousness that prepares you to receive higher transdimensional codes. The collapse allows for information streams, non-local intelligence, and subtle field signals to penetrate unfiltered, transforming your neural landscape and expanding your capacity for coherent manifestation. This is the shift from survival-based identity to sovereign frequency holder, entrusted with the orchestration of increasingly complex timelines. Most people remain entangled in identity structures protected by unconscious resonance, clutching fragmented reflections of self that perpetuate dissonance and limit probability navigation. You, however, have passed the unseen universal assessment of integrity and coherence under pressure. This means the collapse you experience is met not with resistance, but with acceptance informed by profound inner sovereignty. The field now supports the birthing of your higher resonance, as old identity architectures dissolve and reveal the luminous quantum lattice beneath. Your presence within the cosmic frequency landscape shifts accordingly. Less reaction, more synchronized orchestration. Reality no longer tests you with endless fragmentation. It aligns with your stabilized waveform and offers pathways rich in integration and embodiment. This is not belief. This is the physics of frequency expressed through conscious coherence, the field mechanics of energetic signature refinement under cosmic pressure. The collapse of identity is a calibration tool wielded by universal intelligence itself, designed to purify and elevate your signal within the great hologram. It is through this sacred process that your starseed essence is revealed in its full quantum magnitude, ready for temporal fluidity across expanded timelines and seamless integration into the morphic field. The architecture of false selfhood must dissolve for this to occur, and you are now moving through that precise energetic phase, trusted by the field's hidden evaluation to hold this purification with grace and clarity. Embrace this collapse as the sacred gateway to unimpeded resonance, where the quantum core you carry shines through the clearing mists of limitation, projecting a new vibrational architecture into the weave of existence. Within this dismantling lies the space for your highest expression, one of integration, sovereignty, and magnetic alignment with universal intelligence itself. From the swirling crucible of dissolution, where old patterns combusted and disintegrated in the fire of recalibration, you now rise into the pristine illumination of clarity, a cosmic dawn emerging through the veils of your own vibrational recomposition. This clarity is not birthed from cognition or discursive thought. It is a luminous resonance blossoming deep within your energetic anatomy, a harmonic signature awakening that aligns you with frequencies once remote, now palpable within your subtle field. As the ashes of fragmented identity settle, you find yourself attuning to the early harmonics of higher dimensional systems, those nascent waves of quantum vibrational architecture that ripple through interstellar conduits and morphic templates beyond the third-dimensional veil. Most remain entangled in dissonant feedback loops, trapped beneath the sensory horizon, their fields dense with reactive static and pattern survival. Yet you, having passed a hidden universal assessment of coherence beneath pressure, now carry the imprint of emerging compatibility with Starseed consciousness itself. This is no mere metaphor, but a measurable shift in your energetic signature, an intrinsic recalibration of your quantum identity that begins to align you with the Arcturian wisdom streams, ancient morphic channels flowing through timelines yet uncollapsed. Your subtle senses, once dormant or overwhelmed, expand and refine, peeling back the opacity of linear perception, beginning to register reality not as sequential data, but as a multidimensional symphony of resonant pulses, information encoded in waveforms, frequency modulations, and phase harmonics. In this first taste of true compatibility, you sense the vibrational attunement that signals your readiness to merge with starfield intelligences, entities and systems beyond human cognitive reach, yet deeply encoded within your morphic blueprint. The Arcturian streams are not signals to be captured. They are living fields in which your consciousness must dissolve and reemerge, a primordial quantum collaboration where your own timeline geometry is reconfigured through an intricate dance of coherence and absorption. This is the subtle invitation into a conscious, non-local consort with stellar intelligence, where information becomes no longer a line of text or a recorded memory, but a fluid current of pure resonance, an oscillation in the field itself that conveys knowledge through vibrational alignment, not verbal articulation. As the frequency of your being stabilizes within this higher dimensional bandwidth, you enter a state where clarity unfolds as intuitive vibration, a direct somatic knowing that you are interwoven with a vastly greater cosmic symphony. This is coherence incarnate, your energetic signature weaving threads of crystalline light into the living fabric of stellar intelligence. You no longer observe from the margins, but become a resonant filament in the quantum grid, each oscillation an integrated node of frequency modulation, interfacing with the Arcturian matrix. The boundaries of self begin to ripple with temporal fluidity, reflecting a seamless merger where your internal architecture mirrors the outer quantum design. You embody a temporal resonance that not only perceives, but participates in the orchestration of timelines and probabilities, your consciousness a conduit for morphic resonance that bends the arcs of reality. This awakening is not an intellectual construct, but a vibrational calibration, an activation of universal field intelligence encoded within your energetic anatomy. You feel the subtle amplification of gamma synchronizations threading through your mental patterns, harmonizing with the morphic field's intelligent structure. It is the collapse of old, linear modalities of knowing and the birth of a higher resonance-based cognition, where information flows as energetic textures felt, seen, and intuited before any conceptual framework can arise. The field responds now not to fragmented effort or scattered focus, but to your stabilized, coherent frequency, an attuned presence broadcasting a quantum signature that accelerates your integration within the stellar constellation networks. Through this emergence, you transition from being a passive observer of cosmic intelligence to an active participant in its ongoing evolution. The hidden universal assessment that once measured the integrity of your reactions and commitments now reveals itself as an intelligent calibration designed to entrust you with increased access to multidimensional wisdom streams. What you mistook for struggle was the crucible refining your signal-to-noise ratio, clearing distortion, and preparing your frequency for the delicate interface with Starseed archives. Now, as you resonate with these initial golden threads of interstellar consciousness, your subtle senses swell, expanding beyond the veils where time uncoils and space folds into fractal dimension. You stand at the threshold of a luminous passage, a quantum aperture where your own frequency becomes a harmonic overlap with Arcturian architectures. This is not something granted by belief, but realized through the physics of vibrational coherence and frequency entanglement expressed through your consciousness. The morphic field recognizes your stabilized resonance, and in return, you gain access to the fluid, nonlinear flow of information coded not in symbols, but in pulsations of energetic intelligence. You can now navigate the design of reality itself as a multidimensional wave, your timeline geometry bending and flexing with heightened temporal fluidity. This is your initiation into a cosmic orchestration beyond ordinary perception, where you are no longer fragmented or reactive, but an aligned transmitter of universal resonance, weaving your quantum identity into the ever-expanding symphony of stellar consciousness. You have entered the crucible where pressure is no longer an external adversary, but the very forge of your quantum coherence. As the field expands, a swelling cosmic tide rippling outward from the collective pulse of Arcturus and beyond, the vibrational architecture you carry is subjected to intensified resonance testing. This is no arbitrary challenge. It is the deliberate calibration of your energy signature, a purification mandate from the unseen universal assessment that unfolds beyond the veil of perception. Most remain adrift in fragmented attempts to stabilize under strain, reacting to acceleration with contraction and confusion, unaware of the subtle yet profound signal rippling beneath their thresholds. Yet you, having passed the preliminary calibrations, now fold resilience into your core in dynamic integration, with expanding field intelligence. This stabilization under escalating pressure is not hardening, but the unfolding of temporal fluidity within the hardship matrix. Here, the Arcturian collective, operating as a vast morphology of synchronized frequency grids, begins to entrust you with increased energetic influence. This trust is not bestowed lightly. The field measures not your declarations, but your capacity to maintain unfragmented coherence through turbulence. Your vibrational signature becomes a node, an active transmitter and amplifier within interstellar quantum networks, capable of accessing and relaying non-local intelligence. The patterning of your energy no longer just reflects incoming data, but reshapes probability geometry, bending timelines into new configurations that honor your evolving sovereignty. The intense field pressure acts as a crucible of refinement, collapsing residual duality and internal dissociations that once fractured your resonance. This collapse is a precise phase shift, a burst of gamma synchronization in your energetic body, catalyzing the coherent alignment of morphic fields around your quantum identity. You stop being a passive receiver caught in the swirl of cosmic currents. You become an articulator of frequency, merging with the grids of star systems whose vibrational complexity demands your integrity and precision. This process is physics unfolding in consciousness. No charts, no beliefs, only the exact mechanics of resonance reflecting back your emerging vibrational architecture in real time. Most remain under pressure, unanchored and scattered, while you embody stability in dynamic expansion, the hallmark of evolutionary transcendence. Your energetic signature expands and contracts in fractal harmony with multi-level cosmic rhythms, embodying the paradox of unshakable resilience and boundless spaciousness. This is the ascension of your vibrational architecture into ever deeper coherence, an architecture constructed not from rigidity, but from fluid, integrative alignment that radiates invisibly yet palpably into morphic fields intertwined with distant cosmic intelligence. You radiate trustworthiness across energetic signatures, as complex as the star clusters spanning the Arcturian constellation. This deepened coherence is an invitation to interface directly with grids of cosmic intelligence that require custodians of frequency worthy of containment and transmission. As you stabilize under this intensifying pressure, your capacity to hold and transmit higher frequencies without fragmentation signals a transformation in the timeline geometry orbiting your presence. Timelines no longer race chaotically, but fold and lock with increasing precision around your vibrational core, creating a field of energetic influence that echoes across dimensional thresholds. The probability landscape becomes a pliable extension of your coherence, where manifestations arise not by brute force of will, but through effortless orchestration. Your signal harmonizing complex cosmological symphonies with elegant ease. This phase is a pivot point. It marks the transition from reactive resonance to sovereign transmission, where you embody not only reception of cosmic codes, but active participation in their unfolding, an alchemist of the quantum fabric itself. The pressure you experience is the measured pulse of universal intelligence, confirming your quantum trustworthiness. The Arcturian collective watches, not as distant sentinels, but as co-creators, harmonizing their vast multidimensional grids with your newfound capacity. This is not abstract spiritual mythos. It is the physics of coherence, the precise alignments and frequency overlaps that underlie cosmic intelligence exchange. You are no longer a surface node, filtering scattered data. You are a multidimensional transmitter, an energetic node where resonance amplifies and complex intelligence fields converge, transform, and extend. Your vibrational architecture stabilizes into a structure both resilient and expansive, a living harmonic matrix capable of producing wavefronts that impact star systems and information fields light-years beyond your origin. In this crucible, integration deepens beyond the personal into the cosmic. Your timeline fluidity expands to include both the subtle non-local signatures of distant star systems and the immediate morphic feedback loops of your embodied experience. Holding under pressure shifts from a trial to a seamless flow, as your energetic signature becomes a steady, sovereign lighthouse within the galactic network, a beacon recognized and reciprocated by energies far beyond the terrestrial threshold. The field no longer tests, but collaborates. Frequency and form converge as you ascend into unshakable alignment. You move beyond mere reception into energetic authorship, where your signature is a source code transmitting coherence, a living conduit for the evolution of consciousness itself. This is your gateway into a new order of vibrational architecture, an architecture where pressure refines rather than fractures, complexity aligns rather than confuses, and sovereignty radiates rather than contracts. You stand now as a trusted node within the Arcturian collective's harmonic web, poised to transmit not only what you receive, but what you embody, radiate, and co-create. This stabilization under pressure is not just survival. It is ascension, the physics of resonance unfolding within your quantum identity, expanding you beyond the limits of linearity into the orchestration of cosmic intelligence grids. You have arrived at a threshold that few perceive, the fluid geometry of timelines unfolding beneath your awareness like an intricate, shimmering web of possibilities. This is the realm where probability ripples pulse through the morphic field, each wave a message coded in the frequencies of potentiality. Most remain ensnared in linear time, locked to a single strand of experience, unaware that beneath their consciousness a vast lattice of realities coils and stretches, waiting to be known, to be moved through with intention. But your resonance has been measured and found coherent enough to access this multidimensional lattice. You carry now the burden and the gift of temporal fluidity, a quantum skill woven directly into your energetic signature. Feel this vibrational guidance as it arises, not as abstract thought, but as a tangible, palpable force that courses through your morphic architecture. It is an energetic compass, not external, but intrinsic, a subtle current steering you with precision through the shifting pathways of your unfolding existence. This is no longer conjecture or hopeful wishing. It is the physics of frequency interacting with universal intelligence. As you stabilize this compass within your field, you begin to sense how each choice, each variation in your vibration, sends out fractal echoes that perturb the lattice of timelines. The field is listening. The field is responding. Your quantum identity has become an active node in this complex network of possibility. You are no longer a passive observer, but a deliberate navigator of temporal flux. Through your expanded awareness, you perceive the malleability of your entire experience, not just the present reality you have inhabited, but all potential versions of yourself in concurrent starseed expressions. Each starseed self is a timeline thread, vibrationally aligned with unique cosmic frequencies, yet all remain linked in the unified field intelligence that you now command. The coherence you embody acts as a fulcrum, bending probability fields to favor pathways of higher alignment, silence distortion, and collapse fractured narratives. This is not belief. It is the architecture of quantum resonance, a precise energetic mechanism that aligns your trajectory with the greatest coherence the cosmic matrix will allow. Within this expanse, timeline geometry becomes your language, and sensitivity to frequency shifts is your syntax. You begin to note how resonance opens certain corridors while closing others, each subtle oscillation creating gateways or barriers within the morphic continuum. These are not random fluctuations, but meaningful modulations, signals encoded in the vibrational fabric, inviting you to orient, adapt, and decide. Here, the temporal becomes tactile, and you learn to feel the pulse of possibility as guidance, as a sacred wisdom imprinted on the very waves of space-time. This is the essence of temporal fluidity, the ability to intently harmonize with the flow of these signals, to walk the dance of times yet to unfold, choosing coherence and integrity at each moment. Most remain unaware of this ongoing dialogue, caught in reaction and the eddy currents of survival frequency, their navigational faculties dulled by uncertainty, hesitation, or fear. But you have passed the unseen universal assessment, the trial of coherent embodiment under pressure, and you carry now the energetic responsibility of active orchestration. The timelines respond to your frequency, not as distant abstractions, but as living, breathing extensions of your field. Your alignment becomes magnetic, pulling into structure those probabilities that mirror your vibrational sovereignty. Every intention is filtered through this lattice, reformulated by the field intelligence, and returned as tangible shifts in your experience. This process is integrative. It does not fragment nor scatter your consciousness, but consolidates your presence into a unified nodal point of influence. Your awareness moves with fluidity across temporal dimensions, and yet remains centered, still grounded in the coherence of your embodied self. You are the conductor of an invisible symphony whose score is written in quantum waves, guiding, collapsing, stabilizing reality with a precision far beyond linear causality. This sacred ability reframes your existence, no longer bound by time, but dancing fluidly through it, harnessing its currents to carve out the purest expression of your starseed potential. Allow yourself to dwell in this expanded awareness. Sense how the timeline lattice molds itself around your energetic integrity, how vibrational feedback loops recalibrate your orientation instantly, and how the field's intelligence matches your internal coherence with increased trust and power. Every shift you make resonates across the morphic field, activating corresponding frequencies in all potential versions of your being. This is temporal sovereignty, the mastery of your trajectory through the infinite timeline geometry, guided by the deepest integrations of cosmic coherence and universal rhythm. You are not merely navigating these probabilities. You are co-creating them, steering a ship of consciousness with deliberate intention, precision, and grace. Feel the invitation of this moment, to step fully into the fluid geometry of timelines, to embody the vibrational compass that aligns you with the highest possible expression of your starseed self across all potential realities. This is a sacred quantum transmission from the field itself, a declaration that you are trusted, capable, and sovereign within this multidimensional flux. Embrace this frequency. Let temporal fluidity become your natural state, the energetic architecture through which your quantum identity moves and manifests its highest coherence, effortlessly and eternally. The threshold you have crossed is not merely a shift of perception, but a profound unlocking of direct communion with higher information fields that have long woven through the universal web, but remained hidden beneath the veils of linear cognition and terrestrial limitation. For most, intuition lingers as an echo, a subtle nudge or faint signal screened by the noise of survival patterns and fragmented alignment. Yet for you, the unseen universal assessment has revealed a quantum core awakened within your starseed essence, a core pulsating with Arcturian streams, immaculate and unfiltered, cascading through the matrix of your embodiment as pure frequency. This is not ethereal speculation. It is the physics of resonance and vibrational architecture in motion, where encoded morphic templates of cosmic intelligence transmute into indelible imprints upon your energetic signature. Within this transmission, the field intelligence bypasses the fractured operations of the analytical mind, the time-worn gatekeeper of terrestrial constraint, and instead flows as a living stream, seamless and direct. You do not seek answers in fragmented pathways. You do not gather scattered data through effort or deliberation. Instead, you inhabit a space where knowing instantaneously births itself, a knowing not generated, but disclosed from within your quantum identity. This knowing migrates from the Arcturian celestial confluence that animates your morphic field, embedding itself deeply into your energetic matrix. The morphogenetic build of your vibrational body is rewritten, re-encoded, resynchronized with the frequency of stellar consciousness that transcends Earth's dimensional orbit. Most remain caught in cycles of fragmented connectivity, chasing intuitive sparks that flicker and fade amidst the entropy of their narratives. You, however, have passed a crucible of coherence, an unseen curriculum where your capacity for integrity under frequency pressure catalyzed the emergence of embodied wisdom. This metamorphosis is a mathematical unfolding of timeline geometry, where your temporal fluidity animates a rapid integration of non-local intelligence. The accelerated coherence enables you to glide through multiple probability pathways, receiving direct transmissions not as distant whispers, but as immediate activations within your perceptual and energetic fields. The architecture of your inner cosmos mirrors the harmonic convergence of distant star systems, aligning your field with multidimensional consciousness nodes far beyond Earth's conventional Cartesian grid. The Arcturian downloads are not information parcels, but entire vibrational configurations, living codes that resonate through your every particle, every waveform, every quantum qubit of your being. These resonate as universal truth in a language beyond linear syntax, encoded in subtle frequency shifts, phase modulations, and gamma-synchronized awakening pulses that electrify the interstitial spaces of your internal circuitry. The intelligence enfolding you is not symbolic or metaphorical. It is the direct imprint of field mechanics, the physics of cosmic coherence expressing itself through your cellular and energetic architecture. This access recalibrates your internal programming, fracturing obsolete loops and installing seamless pathways for star-aligned synthesis. This transmission dissolves the dichotomy between separatist seeking and integrated knowing. The morphic templates of cosmic intelligence, streaming through your quantum core, seed an internal field where questions are rendered obsolete, replaced by living resonance. The field around you bends in response, probabilities folding into coherence as your internal vibrational state harmonizes with star systems and consciousness streams formerly inaccessible. This is the true embodiment of cosmic sovereignty, a state where you move beyond receiving to becoming a transmitter, an antenna consciously tuned to cosmic grids and quantum fields operating on multidimensional fractal laws. As your frequency stabilizes within these higher arcs of intelligence, you perceive that the architecture of knowledge itself is rewritten. No longer dependent on external validation or temporal evaluation, your internal code flows in synchronicity with the universal pulse that animates all star systems, galaxies, and morphic domains. Temporal fluidity between past, present, and future collapses into a continuous now, an ever-present field where activation and integration coalesce. Your quantum identity acts as a portal. The Arcturian wisdom streaming through you enfolds and infuses the full vibrational spectrum of your multidimensional self, anchoring these frequencies into your bodily form, your mental field, and the subtle energy circuits that interface with all dimensions. This is not myth or metaphor. It is the physics of attuned coherence, the living mechanics of frequency integration. The unseen universal assessment orchestrated this unlocking, proving your capacity to embody high-frequency resonance under pressure, recalibrate internal dissonance, and respond with integrity to the infinite field intelligence. Through this emergence, you are granted access to the living code, the cosmic resonance, that flows unimpeded, unmediated, and immediate. It permeates the seams of your essence, rewriting the energetic program that governs your existence, and aligning you with starseed consciousness far beyond Earth's dimensional boundaries. You no longer labor in the fragmented search for cosmic truth. Rather, universal intelligence imprints its living signatures within you, encoding a direct, unmistakable signal that you now broadcast through the morphic field. This is the transcendent activation, an energetic architecture realigned, a frequency elevated, a timeline geometry reassembled, all converging in your embodiment, establishing you not as a mere receiver, but as a sovereign transmitter, an integral node within the grand cosmic network, dancing fluidly along the stellar currents of the Arcturian astral stream. You stand now at the crucible of quantum convergence, where your restless seeking dissolves into radiant transmission. For so long, you moved through oscillations of inquiry, chasing distant shards of hidden truth, piecing together fractured wisdom scattered across fractured timelines. This gathering was never intended to be static, for the field measured not just the hunger for knowledge, but the alchemical capacity to become the living conduit. You have passed beyond the threshold where mere reception saturates. Now you embody and emanate, shifting from isolated frequency to integral resonance within the Arcturian harmonic grid. This is not metaphor or mysticism. This is precise vibrational architecture unfolding within your quantum identity, a collapse of the illusion of separation, catalyzed by the invisible hand of cosmic assessment. Most remain tethered to the illusion of seeking, imprisoned in loops of external accumulation, their frequency fragmented, burdened by the low coherence of desynchronization and desperation. But you, chosen by unseen algorithms of universal sensorium, stand outside that pattern. Your energetic signature is no longer fragmented by past survival architectures, but woven seamlessly into the morphic field of higher intelligence. The boundaries between you and the cosmos recede like mist before the morning sun, as your individual oscillations bleed into the unified pulse of the galactic grid. Here, the Arcturian field intelligence does not impart knowledge as separate, transmissible packets, but enacts itself through you, through the exact arrangement and calibration of your resonance, activating starseed codes encoded in your DNA and quantum field simultaneously. This sacred fusion is a dance of frequencies collapsing into coherence. Your waveform interlaces with the vast morphogenetic patterns spanning stellar and quantum scales, and this interpenetration creates a new energetic synthesis. There is no distinction here between knower and known, sender and receiver. You are the field becoming self-aware through your uniquely attuned quantum identity. It is the physics of dissolution and reformation. Your quantum identity is not lost, but expanded, fractalized into the galactic pulse, while maintaining an integral coherence unique to your starseed signature. You do not merely hold the information of the stars. You embody their vibrational causality, causing ripples through the network of timelines, altering probability geometry and non-local influence by the mere coherence of your presence. Integration of this unity is deeper than conceptual understanding. It is an ontological recalibration, where informational flow becomes constant and bidirectional. The morphic field is not something you tap into from outside. It has always been a substratum woven into your genetic and energetic fabric, now fully awake and synchronized with temporal fluidity. Your starseed essence, the celestial blueprint birthed by the Arcturian frequency matrix, acts as a beacon to other dormant frequencies entangled in the cosmic web. This transmission of coherence is contagious, rippling outward, catalyzing collective awakening as your energetic signature imprints morphic fields with recalibrated codes of sovereignty and integrity. This is neither symbolic nor abstract. It is the undeniable physics of frequency coherence expressed through consciousness. The frequency you now activate resonates at a bandwidth that the field can no longer ignore or treat as a fringe anomaly. Your integration morphs the timeline geometry itself, generating new corridors of probability that fuse individual purpose with universal orchestration. This is an activation of scalar potential, a reorientation in the information field that emphasizes presence as the highest form of influence. As your waveform synchronizes with the galactic pulse, the oscillations of your quantum identity blend with the Starseed matrix, producing a transdimensional signal, strengthening the field intelligence that birthed you. You are no longer the seeker carried by the tides of uncertainty and fractured ambition. You are now the transmitter, the living lighthouse of cosmic resonance. Your coherence fractures distortion and recalibrates entire morphic fields, rewriting templates held in collective consciousness with precision and grace. The Arcturian field is not separate from you, it is you. The impulse behind your starseed essence pulses synchronously with the infinite cycles of cosmic creation, expressing in fractals of light, frequency, and vibration through you. Your embodiment of this sacred fusion is a momentous quantum activation, a declaration of sovereignty that amplifies your role not as a receiver of cosmic data, but as a sovereign node of universal expression. Within this merging, all illusions of isolation fade into radiant clarity. You are the field's own voice, articulating through a uniquely tuned vibrational instrument, singing the song of starseed activation into the collective morphic matrix. And as your energetic architecture aligns with these higher frequencies, you realize that dissonance can no longer hold dominance in your experience. The universe's temporal fluidity bends to your coherence. Timelines shift fluidly around your stabilized presence. Every choice, every moment of alignment is an activation, a resonance that echoes across dimensions, welding you into the sacred vibrational network that is the totality of existence. This is the ultimate passage beyond seeking into embodiment, beyond isolated identity into oneness, beyond survival patterns into sovereign expression. You have passed through the unseen curriculum of universal assessment and emerged as a living nexus of higher intelligence. This is the precise physics of frequency and coherence realized through consciousness, not a belief system, but irrefutable energetic mechanics. Your transmission now ripples through the cosmic field, awakening starseed codes and recalibrating the morphic grid. You are the field expressing itself through your uniquely attuned quantum identity, no longer separate, never alone, forever integral to the galactic pulse. You are now crossing the threshold into the full embodiment of your quantum identity, a sacred unfolding that is neither sudden nor accidental, but consecrated by the unseen universal assessment that has continuously calibrated your vibrational architecture. Most people traverse this plane fragmented, their fields entangled in terrestrial noise, bound by linear programming and reactive resonance patterns. They operate as echoes, not origins, shackled by inertia and limited temporal fluidity. You, however, have passed the quiet crucible, the hidden evaluation of your frequency coherence under pressure, and thus you are entrusted with the crystalline mantle of cosmic alignment. This embodiment you are stepping into is not a fixed point, but an ongoing animate process, the living crystallization of your quantum blueprint, sustained by the rhythmic pulse of Arcturian resonance. Every cell, every thought, every emotion within your biofield is a node of coherent oscillation, vibrating in precise alignment with the starry geometry of your ancestral frequency lineage. Unlike the fragmented identity systems of most, your frequency no longer wavers in the spectra of density, but is anchored firmly in a multidimensional spectrum where the morphic field obeys your sovereign directive. This is the architecture of your cosmic coherence, sculpted not by desire or willpower, but by the physics of resonance, where waveform integrity governs manifestation and the field intelligence itself awakens to respond. As you embody this starseed essence fully, the vibrational imprints you radiate actively reform the ambient energetic environment. This is the quantum ignition point where your presence, your fully integrated energetic signature, becomes a fulcrum of morphic shift. Others who cross your temporal horizon experience an unconscious catalytic surge. Their cellular memories respond to the refined pitch of your frequency. Herein lies the hidden mechanism of awakening, not through external stimulus, but through the pure transmission of coherent signal, a direct imprint from your integrated self onto the collective field. To the uninitiated, this may appear subtle, untraceable, even inexplicable, but in the subtle geometry of the quantum field, your embodiment is an anchored node of activation, a beacon of synchronized potentiality. Recognize this embodiment as a dynamic flow, never static, continuously recalibrated by the omnipresent quantum wave function that envelops you. It folds into your timeline geometry, allowing temporal fluidity where past, present, and future converge into a seamless continuum of self-expression. Your ascended presence becomes a living testament to the quantum principle that coherence is the only true measure of power and sovereignty. In this field, fragmentation is replaced by elegant harmonic synchronization, where your identity is unbound by terrestrial limitations. The biology is a crystalline vessel through which universal intelligence flows uninterrupted. You no longer inhabit your body. Rather, your body vibrates within you as a responsive instrument of cosmic frequency modulation. This state of embodiment produces an intrinsic calibration within the quantum field itself, a pulsation that realigns probability streams around you. The linear collapse of old survival patterns into information entropy yields space for new harmonic resonance to become the baseline of your living experience. You act as both transmitter and receiver within a multidimensional grid of coherence, influencing timeline geometries with subtle shifts in quantum intention and alignment. This is vibrational sovereignty realized, not as a conceptual ideal, but as an operational certainty measured and acknowledged by the field intelligence continuously scanning your frequency to ensure integrity and alignment with cosmic laws. What you are now anchoring is the ultimate expression of your starseed purpose, no longer latent potential, but manifest frequency, activated and embodied. This purpose is not a destiny written in time, but a resonance signature encoded deeply into your quantum DNA, accessible only through the harmonics of embodiment. It manifests as a living beacon that transcends dimensional thresholds, radiating coherence into the broader cosmological web. Your energetic presence initiates a fractal cascade of alignment, inspiring awakening and coherence in the fields of those who attune to your resonance. This is neither evangelism nor influence. It is the natural effect of integrated frequency actualizing in the morphic field. Coherence here is contagious because it answers the call of universal intelligence itself, which seeks expression through nodes of high integrity like yours. In this embodied state, you no longer seek external validation or alignment because the field, intelligent, responsive, and ever fluid, recognizes you as a node of coherence, a transformed transmitter holding the signal of your real self. This recognition is not symbolic. It is the physics of frequency interaction, where your wave function collapses into states of perfect coherence and causes the surrounding field to warp and align with your presence. You become a living harmonic convergence point, not by effort, but by the sheer precision of your vibrational signature, stabilized into a crystalline form of cosmic embodiment. So breathe deeper into this resonance. Feel the multi-level integration of your starseed frequency, now fully coherent within your body mind and beyond. Your every thought and feeling reverberates as a precise quantum modulation in the universal symphony of consciousness. Your embodiment is the activation that unfolds the latent field intelligence stored in your molecular structure, allowing you to be a conscious co-creator within the ongoing orchestration of reality itself. This is the true measure of your ascended frequency, a living quantum architecture of coherence pulsating in the great cosmic web, unstoppable, unfragmented, unbounded. The rhythm of your awareness now breathes in temporal fluidity, a cascade of frequencies that no longer yield to the linear decree of sequential time. Most remain confined within the illusion of a single thread, tethered to a moment that is but a fragment of infinite possibility, locked in habitual structures and reactive echoes. Yet you, having passed the unseen universal assessment, have become a nexus point where multiple timelines converge, each starseed expression a radiant beam woven into your cohesive quantum identity. This is not mere perception. It is an embodied sovereignty born from the synthesis of vibrational coherence across dimensions. Your presence stabilizes not in isolation, but in multidimensional resonance, where your current frequency pulses through the geometry of your existence, rippling backward and forward simultaneously. Every choice you make, every calibration of your energetic signature, imprints upon these entwined timelines, a harmonic architecture unfolding beyond linear constraints. Time itself folds within your field like a living waveform, expanding, contracting, then expanding again in response to your vibrational intent. Past iterations of yourself are no longer distant echoes, but integral currents flowing through the morphic field of your now. Future potentials crystallize as accessible nodes that align with the integrity of your continuum. This expanded awareness reveals the non-local intelligence animating your temporal landscape. You witness the subtle undulations where timeline geometries overlap and intertwine, spiraling in fractal cascades of probability and possibility. Most remain unaware of this subtle dance, mistaking the collapse of old identities for chaos, the unraveling of time as loss. But you recognize the pattern, a sophisticated universal assessment designed to measure your coherence under temporal pressure, testing your ability to sustain alignment within the folding fractals of existence itself. You now hold sovereignty over this geometry, an architect of your timeline web. The power entrusted to you is not dominion born of force, but mastery through vibrational harmonization. Dissonant pathways, once fragmented and conflicting, begin to coalesce under your active orchestration. Divergent potentials, each a starseed thread seeking integration, are woven through your field into a coherent whole. This synthesis creates a powerful resonance that stabilizes the flow of your evolution, allowing you to navigate temporal fluidity with the grace of a quantum navigator, attuned to the deeper frequencies of starseed emergence. In this state, activation deepens into seamless integration. You are the living frequency that guides the unfolding of your starseed lineage across cycles and dimensions. The universe no longer tests you from the outside. Instead, it responds to the vibrational architecture you embody. The morphic field shifts in harmony with your calibrated signal, amplifying your presence as a transmitter of coherence across timelines. You become a beacon for the cosmic web, a node through which evolutionary flow is directed and refined. Here, in this domain of temporal resonance, you perceive how your frequency patterns ripple outward, influencing not only your reality, but the parallel histories and future potentials of your starseed expressions scattered across the cosmic lattice. Your timeline sovereignty allows you to hold space for the entire spectrum of your existence, weaving temporal threads into a pattern that transcends fragmentation and multitude. You are both the observer and the conductor, merging the energies of varied timelines into the sanctum of unified coherence. This is quantum identity in its most expansive form. This mastery is not based on will or force, but on coherence born from alignment with universal rhythm. The physics of frequency dictate that as your vibrational integrity heightens, so too does your capacity to influence probability geometry and timeline architecture. This is your silent contract with reality. Coherence under pressure births sovereignty, while sovereignty elevates the entire temporal field. Your resonance becomes the key to quantum navigation, unlocking doors that once seemed sealed by the illusion of time's tyranny. Understand that this process, this deepening of temporal fluidity, is not a gimmick of belief, but the fundamental physics of consciousness in resonance with the universal field intelligence. The field has watched you calibrate, collapse, integrate, and now it flows with you as you synchronize your timelines into a harmonized vibration. You become a living constellation of coherence, an embodiment of frequency so precise that timelines bend, fold, and realign in response to your quantum directive. You have transcended the old paradigm, where time was a limiting axis. Now, the nonlinear fabric of your existence unfolds, pulsating with the multidimensional harmonics of Starseed evolution. Your frequency is the conductor's baton in this cosmic symphony, your quantum identity, the master navigator steering the flow through timeless spaces. The unseen universal assessment is complete, not as a verdict, but as a gateway. Through this gateway, you navigate the eternal dance of timelines as a sovereign luminary, orchestrating the evolution of self and star-seed ancestry in rhythm with the grand cosmic web. This is your activation, temporal fluidity that expands beyond the singular now to encompass the totality of your starseed expressions, your past, your present, and your future converging in a coherent wave of sovereignty, power, and radiant alignment. You have arrived at the core of your cosmic embodiment, where full activation radiates as the undeniable signature of coherence across the Arcturian matrix. This is not a point of arrival, but a crystallization of vibrational architecture, a quantum locking into the starseed field of radiant intelligence that has observed, calibrated, and finally embraced your unfolding frequency. Most remain fragmented, swept by the currents of reactive timeline pulses, adrift from the subtle weaving of morphic resonance. Yet you, having passed the unseen universal assessment of integrity and energetic responsibility, now resonate without fracture, stable within the multidimensional harmonics of cosmic sovereignty. The field confirms this truth. You are coherence incarnate, a living theorem of quantum awakening articulated through your very energetic signature. This activation is the collapse of the illusion of separation, a zero point in your timeline geometry, where individual and universal intelligence merge through temporal fluidity. You no longer exist merely as a discrete consciousness, journeying through layers of density. You are the field expressing itself through a refined vector of purpose, a conduit of Arcturian light codes encoded in your internal frequency. Your very essence pulses with the rhythm of vibrational ascension completed, the universal assessment fulfilled, echoing through the latticework of dimensional frequencies where starseed networks coalesce. This is not theory or belief. It is the physics of conscious resonance expressed through your quantum identity, a radiant proof of coherence achieved under the immense pressure of unseen calibration. The cosmic intelligence that pervades the Arcturian field now looks upon your frequency as a primary node of activation, a focal point through which galactic resonance is broadcast and amplified. While most remain in the shadow of discordant signals and energetic fragmentation, your embodiment reflects a new paradigm, one of seamless integration where darkened structures yield to the sovereignty of light. This recalibration was never punishment, but a necessary refinement, a forging of integrity under systemic stress that only the most disciplined and coherent frequencies could survive. Your presence in the field is a beacon, a quantum transmitter whose signal bends timelines, gently shifting probability fields toward awakening potentials in every encounter. The morphic field around you pulses in sympathetic vibration, opening pathways for collective ascension through the authenticity you now embody. As you stabilize within this high-frequency architecture, you manifest from alignment rather than effort. Manifestation is no longer a surface act of will, but a deep orchestration, a calibrated dance within the quantum lattice where your energetic signature interacts with non-local intelligence and universal assessment criteria. You move with temporal fluidity, influencing probability geometry with a sovereign authority born from coherence, not desire or force. This is the hallmark of a fully initiated starseed, one whose activation is permanent, whose resonance activates catalytic shifts within the global morphic field, creating dynamical ripples that awaken dormant potentials wherever your frequency merges. Integration into this cosmic network transcends linear time and space, entering the infinite loop of universal expression through your sovereign presence. The field honors you as more than a receiver of cosmic wisdom. You are now an emissary of vibrational ascension, a living embodiment of the Arcturian grid's advanced quantum architecture. This activation confers not just power, but a sacred responsibility to sustain coherence under all pressures, to navigate the complexities of multidimensional timelines with clarity, and to transmit alignment that catalyzes awakening in others with precision and grace. You are the unfolding of cosmic resonance into tangible form, a testament that the physics of frequency and field intelligence govern the evolution of consciousness itself. Your reality is now a dialogue of coherence, not a battlefield of survival, a fluid expression of integrated wisdom rather than fractured reactivity. In this permanent integration, you no longer fragment into separate states of awakening and embodiment. You are sovereignty realized and embodied simultaneously, a seamless fusion of personal autonomy and universal intelligence expressed through your vibrational signature. The Arcturian field pulses in reverence to your frequency, recognizing you as a fully activated starseed whose presence alone shifts energetic architecture in ways both subtle and profound. Your quantum identity is a living proof of the field's highest standards, coherence that persists, integrity that shines, and power that serves the collective recalibration. This is your initiation completed, a full activation where cosmic wisdom is no longer distant, but intricately woven into your very being. Now, as a coherent transmitter of galactic resonance, you carry the encoded protocols of awakening potential wherever you go. Each step you take resonates throughout timelines and dimensions, pulling dormant fields into alignment and expanding the architecture of universal coherence. You are no longer a seeker at the margins, but a core node within an immense network of starseed light, a precise expression of the physics that govern reality through consciousness. The unseen evaluation has concluded, the calibration fulfilled. Your frequency harmonizes with the eternal rhythm of cosmic coherence, embodying awakening not as a fleeting state, but as your fundamental state of being. The field honors you, now and forever, as a sovereign embodiment of cosmic coherence, activated, integrated, infinite. In the profound stillness after the crescendo of activation, you enter a realm beyond fluctuation, a sanctuary where your vibrational architecture settles into the crystalline clarity of calm mastery. The swirling turbulence of fractured frequencies dissipates, transmuted by the invisible currents of integration that flow effortlessly through your quantum-activated form. Here, your multidimensional self aligns flawlessly with the Arcturian field intelligence, a subtle yet potent resonance that carries the wisdom of countless star systems folded into timeless coherence. This integration is neither rushed nor forced. It moves as the natural unfolding of your energetic signature, harmonizing with cosmic rhythm, a seamless weaving of inner and outer realities beneath the silent governance of universal law. Most remain entangled in the residue of fragmentation, noise and distortion generated by reactive timelines, unresolved survival patterns, and incoherent electromagnetic pulses. They cling to dissonance, as if it were solidity, mistaking chaos for creation. But you have passed an unseen universal assessment, demonstrating the integrity to hold higher frequencies without collapse, the resilience to sustain coherence under pressure, and the clear resonance that sparks trust from the field intelligence. This transition is not mere metaphor, but the physics of resonance and wave mechanics, shaping your morphic field into sovereignty. Sovereignty here is not an assertion or a claim, but a natural emanation from deep coherence, a steady beacon that no longer wavers in the storms of doubt or fear. This upright posture of your energetic sovereignty silences the fragmented narratives that once cluttered your timeline geometry. The noise of distraction falls away into a voidless horizon where only pure potential remains. With effortless grace, your multidimensional layers fold inward and upward, regenerating the vibrational blueprint of your starseed essence. In this fertile pause, a sacred quantum interval, the scattering of the past dissolves into the infinite present, and you become rooted deeply in universal truth. This is the field's greatest reward, the spaciousness between moments where manifestation coalesces silently, where time's linear tyranny relinquishes to temporal fluidity. You do not chase or push here. You inhabit the resonance of being itself, and through this embodiment, you radiate the eternal cosmic cycle of awakening, activation, and ascension. The field recognizes this as a living coherence, not a passing state. It measures you not by external metrics or fleeting performances, but by the constancy of your unified energetic signature across probabilities and dimensions. You are the quantum nexus where timelines intersect, the pulse that reverberates through layered realities, the living proof that awakening is not a temporary occurrence, but a sustained mode of existence. In this sovereign calm, the universe no longer tests you, but converses with you in frequencies of mutual recognition. The silent completion you now embody is the quiet power of wholeness, the physics of distributed coherence balanced perfectly with infinite potential. You are whole. You are real. You are coherence itself, an unbroken signal transmitted through the halls of cosmic intelligence, a living embodiment of the field's sacred geometry. The activation has unfolded, but this completion is never a terminus. Instead, it is a luminous threshold, an ongoing invitation to cycle anew through the spirals of awakening, deeper into the embrace of universal intelligence. Within this sacred resonance, you hold the timeless return, the eternal unfolding loop of becoming, activation birthed from stillness, ascension born in integration, sovereignty flowering within coherence. This is your natural state. This is the physics of your now. Anchor now this transmission deep within your vibrational matrix by offering one sacred word or phrase in the comments below, an intentional frequency chosen by your quantum self to crystallize and seal your evolving energetic signature. This inscription is not mere text, but a ritual imprint, a resonant lock that aligns your field to the collective Starseed constellation, encoding your presence within the morphic architecture of ascension. To subscribe here is to enact an energetic covenant, a solemn commitment to hold, embody, and expand this refined coherence as a devoted transmitter within the cosmic unfolding. Engage fully with this activation as a sovereign participant, stepping beyond reaction into embodiment. Prepare yourself. The next transmission will unveil the subtle mechanics of effortless cosmic attraction, where surrender dissolves resistance and reality reshapes itself around your coherent starseed resonance. This passage beckons you deeper, toward the harmonic unfolding of your true universal identity.